Kishibe Rohan is in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 9, The JoJoLands, and this revelation is completely wild for so many reasons. Rohan has, without a doubt, completely destroyed the JoJo timeline as it currently stands. And the fact that he's just regular old Rohan makes this situation even crazier. So today we're going down the rabbit hole with a theory about how he got here in the first place. Since JoJo's 7th part, Steel Ball Run, we've been following a twist on the Joestar bloodline that we experienced in parts 1 through 6. This set of stories takes place in an alternate universe, where characters have analogs to each other, but are not the same. Well, that's almost entirely true. While this new trilogy of JoJo's has new characters and stand abilities, two previous stands have returned, Zawarudo and Kira Cream. But everyone was surprised that in the second chapter of the newest part, a character straight from the original story was placed into this one. One character that the author can't seem to get enough of, for obvious reasons. You may already be aware, but the star of this spin-off, Kishibe Rohan, is a character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, who works as a manga artist. He has a stand ability which turns people into books, allows him to read about their life and their thoughts in text form, as well as write new information, allowing him to control them. This book is a short story compilation of his adventures. That's a quote from Hirohiko Araki himself on the very first edition of his spin-off, The Spoke Rohan. In 1997, he was given a request from the editorial department to write a short story with only two conditions. It must be under 45 pages, and spin-offs or side stories were strictly prohibited. And Araki's verbatim response was, "Lo and behold, I made a spin-off, haha." He did in fact write a version of this story where Rohan didn't appear, but enjoyed Rohan being the narrator, as he got to explain a myriad of different stories that Araki was fascinated with telling. Throughout the series of short stories, Rohan is given an opportunity to experience several different supernatural phenomena, all while expanding on the lore of the town of Morio, with some familiar faces stopping by along the way. These adventures could involve the most mundane of tasks, and some barely even feature the titular character in the title. At the time of recording this video, there are 11 installments of The Spoke Rohan. Chapter 1, Episode number 16, At a Confessional. Chapter 2, Episode number 2, Mutsukabe Hill. Chapter 3, Episode number 5, Millionaire Village. Chapter 4, Episode number 6, Poaching Seashore. Chapter 5, Kishibe Rohan meets Gucci. Chapter 6, Episode number 4, Moon Viewing with the Mochizuki family. Chapter 7, Episode number 7, Monday's Weather, Rainy. Chapter 8, Episode number 8, DNA. Chapter 9, Episode number 9, The Run. Chapter 10, Episode number 10, Hot Summer Martha. Chapter 11, Episode number 11, Drip Paint Style. And as of the second edition of JoJo magazine, Rohan at the Louvre entered into the greater The Spoke Rohan canon. If you're confused by the naming convention, just chalk it up to Araki being quirky and using an anthology style of titling each chapter. It's not a logical chronology that we're following. And that's because for some of these chapters, Rohan is in the original universe, and for others, he's in the Steel Ball Run universe. So it becomes our job to determine which chapters fall into which universe. There are a couple of chapters of The Spoke Rohan that feature characters straight out of Morio from Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. And difficult to our objective, there are no chapters featuring characters from Part 8, JoJoLands Morio. Chapters that are definitely in the original universe are Mutsukabe Hill, Poaching Seashore, DNA, and Rohan at the Louvre. For featuring characters like Koichi Hirose, Okuyasu Nijimura, allegedly Josuke Higashikata, Yukako Yamagishi, Tonio Tricerdi, and Tamami Kobayashi. Now there are some episodes of The Spoke Rohan that have been animated that may seem to be in the original universe because they include some of those characters. However, we'll revisit those.
Oh my god! What's wrong with your face?
For now, just assume that the anime adaptation's extra scenes are non-canon because, well, technically they are. And there are two chapters that we know for certain are in the Steel Ball Run universe, Hot Summer Martha and Drip Painting Style. This is because they feature a character that has a cameo in Part 9, Bakin, Rohan's new dog that he got during the COVID pandemic. Jodio even comments on how cute Bakin is while he's raiding his Hawaiian house for the diamond. Bakin and COVID are two things that are canon only to the Steel Ball Run universe. On the surface, it seems like an obvious contradiction. Rohan can't be in two universes at once. First, I'd like to dispel with the idea that this is two different Rohans from two different universes, a la Across the Spider-Verse. If we use the logic from the movie, the series of canon events for Rohan must be true in every reality. Rohan must become a super famous manga artist. Rohan must have Heaven's Door as his stand. Rohan must interact with a Joestar, and Rohan must lick a spider. Multiple universes are present in JoJo's, but they seemingly can only be accessed with abilities like Made in Heaven or Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I don't think that's the most likely answer for why we see Rohan in two different places at once, because this spin-off follows the same Earth 1610 version of Rohan. You see, Rohan's endeavors throughout all these spin-offs involve a series of interactions with yokai, kami, and other supernatural beings besides stands. This might be the reason we see the artist paint his way into two different realities. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert on yokai, kami, and Japanese lore, so I turned to my Discord where Lu1E, one of our Japanese members, gave me some ideas. The type of mythological being I'm looking for is someone who could bring Rohan from one reality to another, whether it be willingly or not. Perhaps Rohan encountered one of these beings in some time between his adventures. Now, the tough part is just speculating on which one it could be. For example, the yokai Kyokusaru makes you forget stuff by taking your memory, possibly replacing Rohan's memory with that of an alternate universe in his perspective, thus making one universe mutually exclusive. That means only the original universe or only the alternate universe exists, and whichever one doesn't is just Rohan's headcanon. However, I think the power to transfer someone entirely to a different universe seems like a likely job for the kami. Universal creation is left to the beings like Izanagi and Izanami, the progenitor kami, or Zoka-Sanshin, the literal creator of the universe. But unless Rohan has gazed upon them with immense favor by these beings, I don't think they would bother with him. But you may be surprised considering Rohan was able to keep up with the manga deadlines while Made in Heaven was accelerating the universe. Perhaps they saw his potential that was needed in another universe where he's basically Walter White in Breaking Bad. However, more in line with trends from previous The Spoke Kishibe Rohan installments, I'd place my bet on Rohan pissing off a Tatarigami, a cursed spirit. According to Japanese mythos, these beings are responsible for death, destruction, fire, famine, plague, war, calamity. Wait a minute. Those vengeful spirits could find any reason to be pissed at Rohan, and his interactions during Hot Summer Martha are making me think it's more and more likely that situation. Rohan's smugness has a tendency to get him into situations that's not the best.
よかったらここ座っておしゃべりしない？クソったれ丈介にアホの奥安。それにプッツンユカ子だ。全員僕とは話が合わない奴らだ。
So I'm going to make the theory that Rohan was brought to the Steel Ball Run JoJolian JoJoLands universe by pissing off some Tatarigami. Now this idea works in the context of just the Rohan one-shots. However, with the recent events in the manga, a new theory presents itself. Rohan being in possession of the lava rocks doesn't necessarily make sense on the surface. Jodio's gang wants to steal the diamond from Rohan because of its monetary value, but after interrogating him through a series of Breaking Bad references and self-aware JoJo references, Rohan makes it clear that the lava rock is really what's valuable to him. See, Rohan's already rich, and he's a famous mangaka. He's not researching the rocks for monetary gain. This is just a ploy to spur Jodio into action. As we find out in a later chapter, this item has the ability to pull other things towards it. Where have we seen a stand ability like that before? This could be the reason why Rohan was pulled into this reality. Recall that there were two rocks, and Rohan freaked out when Jodio stupidly destroyed the second one. This could be because Rohan was originally in possession of one, and the pull of the other rock brought him into this dimension. These rocks may be his only method of escaping this realm, which is why Rohan was very explicit about his intention only to loan Jodio the rock. And I'm excited to see him return and use the mechanism of this lava rock to get back to the original universe. So thank you so much for watching. That was just my quick thoughts on JoJo Land as it's ongoing. Let me know what you're most excited for in this part. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for all future videos. Have a beautiful Duang, and I'll see you all next time.